Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this, my second channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth Debate pre-show and after-show goodness. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below the video. Now, we're joined by a whole bunch of people, as we are in the interim stages between the two debates, so I'll raise the mic on those guys as I set up for the second show over on Nathan Oakley 1980.
You know, the thing that I struggle with as a Christian coming into the truth movement is that I have to actually be honest with the way that I look at my own tradition, and I don't have a problem doing that. So,
can I quickly help you out with that one?
No, let me finish my thought, please.
Okay, go ahead.
And so, the issue that I have is that my parameters in reading the Bible don't match up with this whole Jesuit Masonic interpretation of the text. So just for instance, okay, I'm just going to make this point real quick. I believe the interpretive guideline for reading the Bible is the Bible itself. Okay, so if there's a particular term that the Bible uses and I come across that term and I think, oh, gee, I wonder what this means. There are other issues, there are other places in the Bible that use that same concept that ought to guide the way that I interpret it. So
entangled.
When we get to the book of Revelation and we have the number 666, okay, my presupposition, my operating structure is this number is significant previously in the Bible. There's only one other place that the number 666 is used, and it's in the book of 1 Kings, I believe. Chapter 10, don't quote me on it, but it's roughly in that area. It's in the ballpark. And that is when King Solomon fell from his faithfulness to following God by counting up how much gold he had, and the amount of the gold he had equaled out to be 666. Okay? There's only two places in the Bible where 666 is mentioned. So, the number that represents the fall of Solomon is used in the book of Revelation to represent the fall of the Jewish leadership at that period of history. It's got no hidden meaning. You don't add the sixes up. You don't get 18. You don't divide by 3 and multiply by 11, whatever. Okay, there's a simple explanation. The Jewish leadership at that period of time were imitating the fall of King Solomon by not following God. That's all it means. That's it. Okay, I'm done.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below this video. Now, we are joined by Zinda, The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Mark, Jose, Eric, Chocolate Saying, Arwin, and Alan. Good to have you all.
Yo.
Hey, before this show started, we were talking about the number 666 and gematria. How funny coincidence, because tomorrow is a very special episode for you, Nathan.
I don't consider it that way, but if people do, I've already been asked about what I'm going to do on 666, and I'm like, it's just another number to me. So, you know, it'll be the same as any other show.
You might as well get rid of episode 13.
Have you prepared the altar yet? Make sure you don't do it too late.
if people want to come up with a title for tomorrow's show so I don't have to give it any more consideration, I'll take suggestions.
Just fucking around, sorry.
So, like 2 hours before, I was talking to Arwin about Mars, the thing, the light in the sky they call Mars. And so I wanted to ask you guys, according to them, from January 1st, I think, to July, like to end of July, Mars changed 5 times in angular size. Like it changed by a factor of 5. It got 5 times smaller. Has any one of you observed it somehow, or?
Yeah, I mean that would be something that we would have to have validated, right? I mean, I was shooting Mars last night, and I shot Mars I think 3 or 4 nights ago. I don't measure it; I just shoot it. You know what I mean? So, you know, it depends on what your source is, I suppose, and you would have to validate it. So what? I mean, what's the point? You know, what are we saying?
That's no problem as long as you keep the zoom rate exactly the same each time. You can just use the pixels.
No, yeah, I get that. I get that part. My point is, I'm not measuring it. I've got it shot. I've got it filmed. Yeah, but I'm not measuring it. I'm just watching it move. And it was pretty amazing. It was moving pretty quick.
Yeah, I was just wondering because they claimed that Mars on January it was like 300 million kilometers away from Earth, and then in July it was 50 million kilometers away. Which, if you take the angular size calculation and put those numbers in, you get from 0.08 arc minutes to 0.4 arc minutes, which is a difference of 5 times 5. So I was wondering if anyone has seen it, because I've never seen Mars changing in angular size whatsoever. I'm looking forward to look at it a little bit more precise, but I mean that would be, if it doesn't match up, it would be another thing that the heliocentric model predicts wrong.
Well, another really interesting one is if you get Betelgeuse and you get Sirius. Betelgeuse and Sirius sit next to each other in the night sky. One of them's 440 million, 440 light years away, and Sirius is significantly closer. You can scale down the ratio. You can work out the ratio, scale it down, and then basically calculate how much the Earth should move whilst it orbits the Sun during its orbit size. And you should see Sirius and Betelgeuse parallax each other. Obviously, we don't. So it's like, well, they clearly can't be that far away.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I mean, I will do the same with other planets, and I couldn't see Mars, so I didn't see Mars in January, and I didn't remember seeing Mars in July, because I didn't look at it. But maybe if people look at it more precisely, maybe they will find flaws in the heliocentric models regarding the night sky. Of course, you have to let them allow back the question like 1,000 times. You have to allow them back the question that those are material, that those are spheres, that those are orbiting the sun, everything. But in order to do that, I think it's important to kill their own logic by itself.
In my experience, Cinder, the heliocentric model of the stars is actually pretty good. So, you know, the amount of times I've had somebody say, this shouldn't work in the heliocentric model of the stars. And you go and have a look, and you go, no, it does. They've got a perfectly reasonable explanation for it. And you've already said that they've got the distance to Mars being... I wasn't paying too much attention, I was fiddling with my kid, but presumably those numbers match up with how big or small it should be, given that they know already that it's going to be increasing or decreasing in size. So the reason they have the prediction in the first place is because the model matches what they've observed in most cases.
And when it doesn't, the numbers simply have to change. And they do, magically.
Yeah, I mean, I think of course, it is hard mathematically to come up with such a model, but this is completely doable. To see the angular size of Mars in the sky, and then they put a certain distance to it, or they put a certain diameter to it, and then they can calculate the distance back, right? So they only have to put in their model, and then they can make it accurate. Of course, it has to match with everything else, but I think people are smart enough, the mathematicians are smart enough to come up with just such a model over a period of time. If it doesn't match, as someone already pointed out, you just have to change the numbers. Then it will match again. So yeah.
With science.
Yeah, that's the problem with the reification fallacy. If you're making a model that matches reality but doesn't quite work in terms of the way you've modelled it, then there'll be a few errors here and there. But that doesn't matter, you know, the model's still pretty good and it makes pretty good predictions. Very good, in fact. But we don't live on a model. So, even though that's the way they've modelled the world, even in the education system they still do qualify it and call it a model. So it's kind of left to, in a way, it's kind of a backdoor to say to people who are being taught the model, you know, it's up to them to figure out that that's a reification fallacy. The map is not the terrain. We don't live on a model. But if you don't know that, and you're told that it's a model, but you reify it yourself of your own volition, it's kind of like, well, it's been told to you that it's a model. You know, everybody knows when you say the word heliocentric model, that that's a perfectly acceptable definition for what it is. And it is just a model. So we are dealing, at the most part, for most of the globe heads, with a reification fallacy. We don't live on a model.
Yeah. I mean, it's like...
No, it's a model of what you live on.
Sorry a moment. It's like trying to find logical flaws in a, let's say, 5-hour story, which was thought out really, really well. So in itself, it might be even impossible to find certain flaws in the logic or certain flaws in the thinking of the characters. Yet the story doesn't have to be true. The story could be about dragons and dinosaurs and, I don't know, spaceships or whatever, yet in itself it makes sense, right? But of course there are no spaceships or dragons or dinosaurs.
Well, there may be ships, but they're not in vacuum of space.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I am not excluding that type of ship. Potentially up to sort of Star Trek level possible, but in atmosphere.
Yeah, I was talking about like
No,
Star Trek or Star Wars ships or so.
Sorry?
They would travel on magnetic lines along using
maybe
magnetic fields.
I think they would just use electrostatic propulsion or the whole
something
polarity. If there is a polarity thing going on, then they would probably use that. But yeah, it's doable, and I think there's probably already secret military craft using this stuff all over the place. And hey, maybe even the jumbo jets are using this secretly to make things more efficient.
Impressed there.
What's going on?
Sorry?
Turned away to share the show for a few moments, and suddenly we're talking about something crazy. What's going on?
What's crazy about this? Electrostatic propulsion technology? What's so strange about that? Should be doable. Absolutely.
It was doable.
It is doable.
No, here's the problem that, some of the folks are having a hard time grasping is, what if society as a whole, man, and how we built man up to be this great thing, lost the war? What if there was a war and part of our loss was that we have to throw away our ability, what we would say is to make, defend ourselves. We would force the other country not to make nuclear weapons. Well, what if we were told to also scale down our knowledge and weapons? Because there's a lot of, and part of the deal was, let's hide the fact that in the center are the losers. And then there's 10 times more land way out there that the losers don't get anymore. So we basically sealed it off. Anybody ever see that episode in Star Trek where Data was told, to lie his head off to the captain by the captain? Anybody remember that episode where they encountered some species that was so far advanced, and the first time around Data started slipping up and they threw Data in the brig because Data started lying his head off? So they threw Data in the brig, and then they encountered the species the second time, and the captain said, okay, let's fix all the mistakes we made the first time around in detecting it. Anybody know that episode?
No, honestly not. I didn't watch Star Trek. So
I zoned out. I zoned out for a second. Is this still the flat Earth debate? I thought it was the philosophical bullshit show.
Because, see, the problem that I had recently is that I thought about, we're calling it a mudslide, or some folks are calling it a mudslide. On the flat Earth, by the way, the mudslide happened on the flat Earth. So, but the question remains is the question that sent me going in the direction where I am now is, they had working toilets in the Roman days, like under pressure, and legitimately working toilets. And there's hundreds of miles of piping to all the old castles.
yeah, Romans were good at aquatorius and so on, but I don't think they had toilets like we do. But whatever.
Fascinating.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Alan.
Well, it's not very often we agree, but I think we did there.
Hi, Daniel. How you
Yes,
doing?
sir.
Hey, Nathan, how are you?
Very well. Good to have you.
Is this what we call the calm before the storm?
I like these calm little moments. Not one of the silences where somebody's being held up against the wall, battered with their own religious belief. It's just a nice, calm little silence, which we can all enjoy.
Oh, maybe I should leave because the other guy that was just talking, he dropped, did he? Or
It's all good, unless somebody in the chat saying that they want to come to tell us that we haven't got our religious faith in order.
No, Daniel, you're good. You're good.
Stay, Daniel. We like the silence sometimes.
All right.
I'd rather hear a silence and stay awake than hear a voice and fall asleep. Sorry about that.
I have trouble sleeping sometimes. Maybe I can play his voice just like.
Yeah, now you're just being rude.
Zinder.
Go to sleep.
No, I need Mark's voice too.
Sleep. Go to sleep, baby Zinder.
Dude, your voice doesn't work. I need his voice.
I bet at least one person is just checking on the show for the first time and they go like, what the hell am I getting myself into?
Oh man.
I am done now. I was just mirroring the pre-show onto the second channel. So if you're unaware, the pre-show that runs before the first debate and the after show that runs after this live stream end goes out well, the pre-show goes out immediately after this live stream ends, about 4 p.m. UK time, 1600 hours GMT. And as I say, over on Nathan Oakley, you can have the pre-show and then the first debate. So there are obviously people over in the States that are late risers. They're not up for 7 a.m, which is perfectly reasonable, but you can watch it again with the chat and the pre-show over on Nathan Oakley channel when this live stream ends. I also rebroadcast the after show the following day just before the debates begin. So at about 11 a.m. or 1100 hours GMT, I replay the after show, which is sometimes it's better than the main show because people relax a little bit and are prepared to express their views a little bit more. So in many respects, some of the after shows have been absolutely epic. So well worth subscribing to Nathan Oakley channel. Link in the info box below this video. As I say, the pre-show and the last debate will go out immediately after this live stream ends, and I've just stuck a link in the info box. I'll stick one in again now. You can see how quick my latency is.
We have Ronnie who is saying, "I'm going to prove the glove." The globe he wanted to write the globe. He is in the chat. He typed it in all in caps, so he was shouting at us.
It's Chris. He's got a problem with depression. I think he thinks this helps.
All right, interesting. Didn't know.
Yeah, it's one of his. It's telling, but Ronnie mentally destroyed Vegan Goy. It's just projection, like typical globehead.
In 5 minutes. Okay. Proves it in 5 minutes.
Sorry, you talking to me? You having a
I
breakdown?
know. He said I prove it in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Great. 5 minutes, lads, and we might be packing up. You all excited?
Yeah, I would like to listen to some globe proof.
Me too.
What's going on in 5 minutes? I missed it.
So, got a suggestion for tomorrow's show? The Blunders of the Beast. Flat Earth Debate 666.
Nice.
No, I think we can do better. Thank you very much. Here from now. Didn't get to the end of all the shout outs last time. When I do them, suddenly people have got something to talk about, so I'm going to do them again. Shout out to David Reed, Daniel Brooks, good to have you. Robert B. Daniel Field.
Thank you.
Ronnie, Mentally Destroyed, Vegan Goy, good to have you. Gamer Tamer, Gleam, nice to see you both. Unbelievable Productions is in hysterical laughter for some reason. Good for you, my friend. Glad to have you. CRH46, thanks for being here. YouTube Surgeon General, couldn't do it without you, my friend. Michael Quark, thanks for being here. Rune Thornton was on fire yesterday. Everything he said was like, Rune, you make a lot of sense. Absolutely on fire he was. Oh, my kid seems to need my attention. I'll be back in a moment.
Great show. Great content as usual. Lots of
It's
evidence.
good to have you, Alan.
How you doing? What was Tony saying? I'm a band on Skype?
Timing is epic from Anthony. Just epic.
He's gone to the dentist.
Ah, fair enough. He'll come back talking like, well, we can won't be able to understand him like, after having a drill through his head.
Well, perhaps it might sound like Mark.
That's pretty rude, isn't he, on your side?
Quite accurate, though, I think you'll find.
No need. I hate it when you get me having to defend Mark Taylor. But yeah, no need.
Oh, I was meaning Mark Smiler, not Mark Taylor.
Oh, my bad.
It's Friday, anyway.
That good?
It's very good. In 1 hour and 30 minutes, I will be in my local pub.
Excellent.
You got a suggestion for the title of the show tomorrow, Alan?
Show 666, King of the Flip Flop.
King of the Flip Flop. It's not directly related to 666, but thank you anyway.
Yeah, brilliant. That was good, Alan. I like that. That was
I
good.
like that too. Great.
I got one. Flat Earth
Fire
debate
it.
666. Nathan Oakley Illuminati confirmed.
It's probably out there in the internet YouTube realm already.
Yeah.
Alan, are you going to happy hour in the bar?
Yes,
Nice. What time is it? Where are you from?
it's 15:20.
Ah, nice.
So happy hours 5 p.m.
That's correct.
before
Perfect.
people finish work. Tight.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've seen numerous times of happy hour. It was like when I was in Thailand. It was like sometimes like at 7 p.m., sometimes 9 p.m., sometimes at 3 p.m. It's completely crazy. But so sometimes happy hour was like every evening, the whole evening.
Oh, here we go. How you doing, boys?
Hey, Hench. How you doing?
It's me, the one and only. Nathan, he still doesn't figure out the Earth round yet.
Figured out.
Pardon?
What do you mean
You
figured
still
out?
haven't figured it out. You're still many years down the line, and you still think it's flat. Legitimately, really.
What's up, Cat? Cat Earth.
The Earth is
I don't-
obviously
alright,
and observably flat. There's nothing to figure out.
Of course, there is something to figure out.
One of our
How do you?
arguments.
Well, you know there is something. You know the answer. Really, you must be running a show. There's no way you can be debating or pretending to debate for this long and think the Earth's legitimately round in flat. Sorry.
I'll say it again. There's nothing to figure out as a flat earther. The Earth
Of course
is
there is.
obviously...
I was at the beach the other day looking at the.
I hadn't finished my sentence. So as a flat earther, there's nothing to figure out. The Earth is obviously and observably flat, and I can look at pictures of things in the distance with no explanation required. So when you say figure out, what you actually mean is you as a globe head need to figure things out when we just see them. I don't need to do that. So no, there's no figuring out. You've literally failed in your assertion, your very first assertion on the show.
Really?
Well done.
Really? So when you look at a woman, you just know that she's a woman, or she could be a transvestite. You need to look a little closer. Do you know what I mean? That's how you figure out what sex they are. You don't just look at them and go, "Oh, there she looks like a woman. She must be a woman."
Hey Zinda,
Because
you know when
you
I
look
said...
at the Adam's apple, you check the wrist, you check the
guess if
hands.
you're
You see
staring
the-
at
Hey Zinda,
babies,
do
but
you remember when I said out in Thailand
me.
that you wouldn't need to think about it if they were a tranny, you'd just know? Was I right?
No, you wouldn't just. You wouldn't just know.
Your name's not
You have to look at the hands.
Zinda.
You have to look a little closer. You don't just see.
You're gonna get
something, you
kicked
just
out real
detect what
quick.
it is. You look a little
You're going to
closer.
get kicked
It
out
can be-
real fast if you don't shut your pie hole. Your name is not Zinda.
It can be tricky, of course, because there are indeed Thai men who can look like women. So you
Better than
have to
some
like. What?
Better than some women.
Can you repeat it a little?
I said some Thai men can look better than some women. Yes.
Yeah, but they can look as they are women, of course. And if you don't look close enough, sometimes you can fall in that trap.
Exactly.
So,
You'd be like Nathan Oakley, then thinking the Earth's flat and shagging man.
So, but most of the times you can see that they are transgender or they are transvested. So most of the times it's kind of obvious, but sometimes, of course, sometimes it can be really, really tricky. So you think the Earth is a transgender woman?
I'm just saying, it's just a little analogy. You look a little closer and you realise, oh shit, it ain't flat. Even though it looks observably flat, it's supposed to, by the sheer size of it, it's supposed to look flat from our
No, it's not.
perspective.
We are looking closer. We are looking closer, brother.
And you
It's
still
not.
haven't
Every
seen it.
single day.
After all this time
Well
you've been
done.
debating it, and you
No,
still.
he's just thrown out that assertion, and he won't shut up. He's got verbal diarrhea. So just to correct, for the audience's benefit, no, it doesn't look observably flat because it's so big and it should look flat. The curve should be apparent and measurable.
How would you measure it? You'd use R. R to spit at us. R to spit it on us. Listen,
Do-
man.
do you
need-
understand- do
No,
you
you need to find the radius of a ball. You need to use the formulas.
Tommy, tell
Yeah.
me about
Ours
Tommy.
after you
I love that.
figured
He
out
doesn't.
the
He
Earth.
doesn't understand the argument. Then
I
So what-
understand
what
you
you're-
trying to twist the argument. Yeah, I understand how you're trying to distort the argument. Yeah, I understand how the way that you're manipulating the argument. I totally get that.
So you're saying in order to measure a ball, you'd need
Yes,
R.
a football. Say you had a football and you're going to measure the radius. What would you use? You'd use the
Right,
formulas
so-
to fit the ball, wouldn't you?
So Tommy,
you presume it's flat. You presume
yeah,
it's
Tommy,
round,
we
you
get
both-
the
you both
argument. We've
test
heard
both,
it about
you find out
50,000 times. We don't need a retard to reiterate it again. Thank you, Tommy. Your
I'm the
presumption
retard,
that we
but you're
don't get
thinking
this
the world's
argument
flat.
is
You think the
wrong.
world's flat, but I'm the retard.
I'm
You're
trying to
protecting-
educate
you're
you,
protecting
Tommy.
your retardation
But like
to me.
always, I have to talk over him as he non-stop jabbers. This is why I've got a mute button, so I can keep my blood pressure low. That's the problem. Now, Tommy may not listen to this, and I don't care. I want the audience to hear it. What Tommy has said is, we need R because it's round. Now, that is called a presupposition and the very point of our argument, Tommy.
Yeah, I know. The way you twisted it. I like the way you've worded it, but really...
Let's just stop him in his tracks again. Not twisting anything. You're the one that gave us the point. So you're saying, if we've got a football, well, in regards to Earth, you're saying, if we've got a sphere. So that is a presupposition that Earth is a sphere.
We presuppose it being flat. We do a test and examine.
Yeah, let's stop him again. We don't need to presuppose it's flat. So in this picture, right now, Tommy... Now, I'm not going to let you verbal diarrhea over every point as you make shit assertions we've debunked hundreds of times. I can just stop you in your tracks and say, on screen now is a clock. And I look at it and go, that's a clock at Barrow-in-Furness. And there is no further explanation required, no presumptions needed. It is a concrete noun. Clock at Barrow-in-Furness. End of explanation for me as a flat earther, because the Earth is obviously and observably flat. So when I see a concrete noun, a clock, I don't need to give any explanation. You as a globe head need to assume R and then explain why we see something that we should not see. So you have to start making explanations and figuring things out. I, as a flat earther, can declare that there is a clock at Barrow.
Come and slap me, Nathan. Slap me as hard as you want. What realising is that you tell me the sun that goes away due to perspective. Let me finish. I'm talking to Nathan. The sun disappears due to perspective, right? But the clouds get illuminated from the bottom. So therefore...
So that's a straw man. That's something never claimed on this show by anybody. Tommy is now taking an argument he may have taken from somewhere else, introduced it, declared specifically that I say that when I've not said that, and now he's trying to debunk a straw man.
Well, I'm debunking flat earthers that think that the sun...
Oh, really? Well, flat earthers who think that might come and claim it here, and I would debunk them, Tommy, so well done.
Well, I've debunked them for you. I'm doing your job for you.
I know, I've already done that in the housekeeping when I say, what's the distance to the sun? And I get an answer from Arwin Daly. We don't know because there is no distance. It's intangible.
There's a distance to the sun. There's a distance to everything.
Oh, really?
There's a space between you and the sun, and there's a distance
how long we
and they
can keep you on
calculated.
topic. Let's see how long we can keep you on topic without you having verbal diarrhea. So, what's the distance?
Answering you?
Oh, literally, I'll answer it within one mute so I can get my point across. The time it took for him to have verbal diarrhea was shorter than the time it took me to even open my lungs to ask the very first question.
So, yeah, what's up?
Tommy, talking of clocks, tell me about the ladyboys.
What about them?
I want to ask, Tommy had a question on the table. What is the distance to the sun and how does he know it?
Right.
How do I know it? You fucking read it in a textbook, that's why.
No need to swear, triggered boy. Yeah, we know you read it. You took the word of man. You believed what you read in a textbook. Yeah, we know.
You don't believe in gravity. You don't believe in...
Let's change the subject quickly, because the distance to the sun is no longer his point, so we're going to scattergun the shit out of this show and start talking about gravity next. Distance to the sun, Tommy. You believe it because you read it in a book.
Yeah, I believe...
Well, that's pathetic. Well, you don't know what it is, you don't know how far it is, and the way they came to that conclusion was to assume that Venus was the same size as Earth, which was assumed, like you with your football, to have a radius, without anybody confirming anything, just assumption. So, yeah, Tommy, you don't know the distance to the sun, you just trust a man who assumed two very...
I trust him more than you do. I trust him more than I trust you.
I haven't finished. He assumed two very key details. Number one, he assumed that Earth was a sphere. Number two, he assumed that a light in the sky called Venus was the same... You see, this is your problem, Tommy. You're like Dawn and Tim Osman. You will remain eternally stupid. And the reason is because you cannot shut your mouth long enough to understand the problem with your own religious belief in this shit. I'm telling you right now, there are two assumptions. One, that Earth is a sphere. Like you explaining that you need a radius value to measure a football. Well, when you've got a football in your hand, you know it's a sphere. That's what we're trying to figure out. And you're automatically assuming it's a sphere, like the guy who gave you that textbook. So, that's number one. Number two, it is assumed that Venus is the same size as pre-said sphere Earth. That is also an assumption. That is how you get your distance to the sun. You read in that textbook, and you still can't keep your pie hole shut long enough to get to the end of it.
I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. I'm getting dumber and dumber every single second you speak.
Really? That's interesting that you should say that, because that is literally the mainstream narrative. Those were facts and figures as quotable from NASA. So if you think you're getting dumber by listening to the mainstream narrative, I would absolutely and 100% agree. The mainstream narrative's dumb, and that's what you believe, while you're telling me that you're getting dumber listening to the mainstream narrative that gave you that distance in the textbook. You are the textbook definition of a complete and utter retard.
I'm illuminated from the bottom.
Yeah, verbal diarrhea ensues.
Conversation, red herring, and now he's going on a tangent about something else.
No tangents. Distance to the sun was on the table. I'm trying to explain to a complete retard who can't shut up long enough to listen how you came to that conclusion from your textbook, and you tell me that you're getting dumber while you're listening to it. You're priceless. I love you. You're brilliant. You make excellent entertainment for my audience. Thank you, Tommy, for joining.
I am actually a gift for you today, because the reason I stopped coming on the show is to give you entertaining purposes.
You are.
Because I'm an entertaining person.
Yeah, you're so dumb that you are entertaining the audience greatly with your stupidity, as you tell me that you're getting more dumb whilst listening to the mainstream rhetoric repeated back to you about where you came to your conclusion in a book. You're telling me that's making you dumber. Yeah, I know that for a fact.
What you're doing is just tradition, like you're just programming people to think, like to go against evidence and to just pretend it's not there.
I'll say it again. I'm not programming anybody. We have given you your rhetoric from your book and the origins of it.
You're trying to say to people, there is no spoon, but there fucking is a spoon.
Oh, right.
There is evidence out there.
No.
There is tests.
You don't get to
swear. You're so triggered. You're so triggered. You don't even understand.
Way too
the reference of that.
Way too triggered.
That's how sad you are, bro.
Way too triggered. It's got to go. Sorry. No, you don't get to just swear your head off because we're beating your ass with your religious belief in this nonsense. Sorry. You're amusing till you start swearing.
Oh boy.
Yeah, sad. Literally, his very first assertion failed. We got to figure this stuff out. No. We're talking about a concrete noun. You think you got to figure it out, globehead retard. Bye. Go and figure out whether or not it's a sphere.
When did I call it? 5 minutes ago? The calm before the storm. Yeah, I called it.
Exactly.
Hey, Ralph.
They
how you doing?
just come in here spazzing.
Hold on a sec. Now. Hey, Ralph. How you doing?
What's going on?
Good to have you. Can you say hello?
Can I say hello?
Oh, too late. Sorry. Hello, Mike.
It's so funny. Sometimes you let people linger before they speak, and then sometimes you just kick them right away.
Well, it's if it's a new guest, it's worth the risk. It's only 2 minutes to set up a new hangout if they do end up being a sniper, but I'd rather not. In that case, I left it a couple of minutes. Then he did say something, and I'd already kicked him, which was a mistake. 2 more seconds it'd have stayed. So my bad. I'm sorry to whoever Ralph is. Hi, Ranty Flat Earth. Good to have you.
Hi.
So what side of the fence are you on, Ranty?
Well, 50-50.
So kudos to Ranty. Ranty's just been out doing his first of probably a few observations at Barrow, and he's debunking the assertion that we can have things looming. That is to say, rising up from behind the obstruction of Earth curve that the horizon is said to be by deluded globeheads. So do you want to tell us a bit about your observations that you've been doing and have done? No sound. Ah, lost half the panel. See, that's the way it goes. Hey P, I'm really sorry to do this to you, but I'm going to start a new hangout. Sorry, mate. I'm sure what you had to say was extremely important. Welcome to the show, where you don't know. No, you don't know. This should be the work of but a moment. Hope you're all enjoying the show in the live chat. I would attempt to do two things at once and shout a few people out, but unfortunately I'm I'm not that skilled. I can see a few names in there. Hey Bruce Lee, good to have you. See anybody else go by? Vacuum. Oh, I'm not going to read that. Good to have you anyway. Right, we're up. We're winning. Okay, give it a moment and we'll have this link out on Skype. My apologies for the short delay. Oh, Spurs Chemo sent me a message. Yeah, I'll send you the link, Spurs. I can't read your message right now, but yeah, the link's gone out on Skype, so hopefully we'll get a few of the guests that were in a moment ago to join us, and then once we do, I'll stick the link out again. Hey, Jose.
Hey, yeah. Yeah, that was a sneaky sniper. Jumping, came out of nowhere.
It's good in a way.
It's really me.
Hey, Travis. It's good in a way because I was literally just saying, look, it's worth the risk, and then that exact thing happened. So.
Yeah.
So hashtag same team. That's Ranty's chat, isn't it? So I'll stick it in Ranty's as he was one of the guests. Unless it was Ranty. Did he say hello?
He said, "Hi, yeah." Like he always say, but they might have figured it out and put a little recording of him jumping in and saying, "Hi, yeah," like him.
Maybe. If so, you sneaky sods. Fuzzy little sods. I'd scruff their hair if they were here. Go on, run on, you little sod. You little troll sods. You got us. 3 minutes later, we're working again. Black something, aka Matt, good to have you. Pedro Gonzalez, good to have you.
Not related to
Chestnut. Me. Scott, nice to see you as well. Michael, evidence for a globe Earth, question mark. 0, just assumptions, put forth as proof. Very well said, Michael. Belu, good to have you. Magic, is that Magic Penis Hot Dog? Nice screen name. Hey Peanuts, good to see you. Jeffrey Ball. Nice to see you. I think I've shouted out everybody.
The plain truth, Travis. He's going up on subs. You're doing good, Travis.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. I just wish I had more time to process the footage that I have. I just keep shooting stuff and it just keeps piling up into files, and I'm just like, I don't have time to process all this stuff.
So what you do? You plug the card on the computer and just load it on the computer and keep loading the card and passing on the computer.
Yeah.
Hey, are you guys sub to me? To my channel?
I think I am.
All right. I was gonna say.
When you gonna start putting videos up?
When I get a camera. Because I will. If I could get a P900, I'd do it too. Except
with your phone, bro. Start doing perspective videos and shit like that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Since
I'm not near water though, so that would suck.
No problem. Grab like a domino, so cans of Coke or something, and find a little long stretch and start setting up, and going distances and setting up stuff, little testing, see what comes out of it.
Yeah, I want to start doing some stuff too.
Where's the new Hangout link? Don't you listen, Tommy Hench? If you swear, come back on the next show. Don't come back after swearing your head off and rumpusing the Hangout. In our you trust. Go away. Come back when you've calmed down and can stop swearing. I swear. Yeah, I swear because it's my show. The reason for the swearing rule isn't because there's no swearing on the show, right? Yes, I swear. And yes, the reason I'm about to give should technically get me kicked out, but do as I say, not as I do. It's my show. The reason for the swearing rule is because when we get people like you, Tommy, triggered, very triggered, yeah, I eventually have to control them. And if I can't, I have to kick you out. Because no swearing. Swearing meaning getting triggered, talking non-stop, getting angry. What you were doing. Well, me, yeah, I shouldn't swear. I can't leave. I'm running the show. So yeah, unfortunately, when I get triggered, I'm stuck here. You know what I mean?
Am I wrong? But didn't he say he was sent in here by like Jim Panda and them? Did I mishear that, or am I crazy? Because I could have sworn I heard him say that.
It was something like that, rephrasing. Yeah, he came like from that group, like he wanted to entertain them, so they were listening or something like that.
Oh, isn't that nice? That's pretty sad, guys.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But remember, they got dark matter, black holes, forces,
Oh
etc.,
yeah,
etc.
all types of stuff they haven't seen yet. Somebody in a white coat told them they exist, so they must.
Black holes, what a bunch of baloney.
Oh yeah.
Where's everybody else? Arwin, where's Ranty?
They got lost in the Matrix. They got trapped.
Maybe
by Morpheus in the fat hangar.
Yeah, I didn't really picture Ranty stuck on some 30th floor, you know, behind a big plane of reflective glass strapped to something with a machine strapped to his head so they can extract code to save Zion. I didn't really picture that. I just think he's probably gone to get a cup of tea.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun for a while, but they've only got one tact, and it kind of gets a bit tedious for both me and the audience. Amusing though it occasionally is to have them just rumpus the hell out of you whilst simultaneously scattergunning you with questions and things they claim debunk flat Earth or prove a globe. And, you know, Tommy's no exception. In fact, he's the definition of what that type of globehead is like. You know, they come in and say that sunrise proves something or other, and then you try and tie it down and it moves on to gravity immediately without any concession, and it's just scattergun.
All right, so I'm trying to shamelessly plug my my new channel, Red Hen Radio. I just uploaded the premiere, so I have no idea what I'm doing with premieres or whatever, but I'm just...
Have you scheduled it?
Well, it said so on my on my save page, like after I uploaded it and it wants to publish, it just had the toggle to premiere, so I clicked premiere.
Yeah, have you clicked publish yet?
Uh-huh.
Well, then it's premiering now.
Right.
So right now, stick the link in the chat and I'll at least stick it in so people you can literally steal my audience if they go away and watch your premiere of that, but I don't mind.
Well, I'm not trying to pull anybody away. I'm just letting you guys know.
I don't mind. No, just stick the link in. Can you do that? If not, I'll do it for you.
Hold on. Let's see. I'm gonna share it first to the Master B, I think. That'll be easiest for me. Here it comes.
We sent it in Master B?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pick it up. I don't see it. Nope, no, I Master B.
Alright, that's weird.
Slick, very slick.
share. Copy link. So I'm going to put it in the Hangouts. And I'm on my phone doing this on the Hangouts. So here it comes in the Hangouts. See it?
Nope. Is it in the back chat to take it?
I see it in the Master B on my phone.
Okay. It's come through now. Got it. You want to listen to a minute of it?
I mean, it's not. I mean, if you want to, yeah. I think it kicks in with discussion with Crow after a minute. The first part is an intro with the Matrix.
Okay.
Don't copyright strike him.
Well, Matt Long used it for his channel, Flatworth. So he hasn't gotten a strike yet. So I figured it was good.
Yeah, he will get a strike if you complain about it. If you take the necessary steps to make him strike.
Right. Skyped me and asked me about my image. Can we try to go back and let's recreate that as if that conversation was happening for the very first time?
It's just really quiet, isn't it?
So I was asking you about the red rooster imagery in your red hen logo, and I was pointing out that that's probably an alchemical illusion. And people can go to the Hoaxbuster YouTube channel and see what I consider one of the best clips I've ever seen in my entire life on YouTube, where he unveils Marie Curie as basically mercury encoded. Within that clip, he begins to show some of the alchemical usages of the idea of the rooster. What people should know is if you've gotten into the natural sciences, the idea of red is masculine. We've shown that in color shows. It's also electric. But the rooster itself is said to be the most electric of animals, and the attribution made there is that's why the rooster crows when the electric sun is rising. So that's just a little bit about what I was mentioning.
Good stuff. So yeah, I've stuck the link in the chat box, so if you want to go and subscribe to Red Hen Radio, that's Travis's channel, and he's going to be uploading his interview with Crow 777 in the not too distant future. But that was the teaser, which is published. I thought it was the actual interview, which makes premiering that makes no odds because it'll just play out for 2 minutes with an audience. But when you come to actually publish your main video, just make sure you click premiere, then you click on the tab that says public, and then go down to scheduled and just schedule it for a specific time, because then you can plug it and go and watch it with your audience. Hopefully you'll.
Oh, I see it. Okay, I see that now. Okay. Thanks, Dad.
No worries.
I'll get the bugs out.
Good stuff, Travis. Good job, man.
Thanks.
Why is so difficult for the ballers to accept that the narrowing angle, the stuff disappearing from the bottom up is a thing, and it's being evidenced that things disappear from the bottom up in a flat surface? I don't see why they deny this. It happens. And then add atmosphere, add the mirage and the inferior mirage and the mirroring effects, all the crap and the evaporation of the water. Shit is gonna disappear from the bottom up, indeed.
You tell me, Travis. Not Travis. Jose.
Oh, because I know why they don't accept this, because they got computer programs that models the things in a sphere, and they throw lines and they throw orthographic views and they do math, and it doesn't add up to the circumference of the ball that have been shoved down their throats or their lives, and they don't want to let go. That's why.
Good timing. Since it says I can answer, just click the link. You might have to refresh though, so if you just had the show running, you have to refresh if I ever put a new link out.
and they don't accept it because it's this explanation with the Rayleigh's criteria and Airy's diffraction in the long distances. It's not very articulated and presented in any optics books and citations and stuff like that.
Perfect.
So this subject hasn't been explored to the max yet.
Hey Mark, hey Zinder.
Howdy.
Hey Mark.
I was pointing out
Can you hear me?
We hear you clear. Can you hear us, Cinder?
And people can go to
How you guys
the
doing?
Buster YouTube channel
Very well.
and see
Background noise from
one of the
Travis.
best clips I've ever seen
Not
in
me.
my entire life on YouTube.
Oh, sorry, that could be me. Maybe the autoplay from your...
Curie as basically mercury encoded.
Is it me?
Within that clip, he begins to show some of the alchemical usages of the idea of the rooster.
Where's that playing?
What people should know is
It comes from you, I think.
I think so. I'll have to figure out where the hell it's coming from.
We've shown that in color shows. It's also electric. But the rooster itself.
Oh, see. Nathan is being fed from the background, but I hear that.
There we go.
You got a whisperer over there.
Must have clicked it twice. It just opened in 2 tabs.
Talking to Oakley is like throwing pearls before swine. Am I right, guys? What a fucking idiot this dumb nigger is. You know what I'm saying?
Immediately
He's like wrong about everything. You're a fucking retard.
No swearing.
Fuck you, you dumb nigger. You're an idiot. I'm sick of hearing you talk shit.
No need. Snipey snipers as well. Ugh. Well, there'll be another delay. Fun, fun, fun.
It's always like this, Nathan.
Say again.
Is it always like this?
Well, sometimes snipers join, sometimes they don't.
I like that.
Yeah, par for the course as far as I'm concerned. Standard fare. My apologies if you're in one of the Skype groups and you're constantly hearing it bing bong. Okay, so check your Skype feed in about 60 seconds and you should have a link. Hopefully the regulars aren't too pissed off to join this late in the day. We shall see. We're going to do first. Let's do Master B. I was hoping Ranty would join. Let's send him a link directly. Hopefully he'll join for the last bit of the show. We'll see. Devastating to the flow of the show right at this late point in the day. Well, all I can do is shout out chat now, can't I? Seaside Wheelbarrow. Good to have you. Bible Expositor. Nice to see you. Flat Enough. Good to have you. Jelly. Nice to see you. Negator XX. Thanks for being here. Gamer Tamer. Them Exposed. Thanks for being in our chat. David Reed. Nice to see you. Lee Redpath. Pick yourself up. It's been a fun show. Oh, thank you very much. That makes me feel a lot better. Especially as I'm here on my own, with no guests, talking to nobody. No, it wasn't the best show. Yesterday's show was better. Yeah, we've only got a couple of minutes, and then I'll be rounding out this show. Hey, Jose.
It was an okay show today.
Yeah, it's okay. Snipers did disrupt the flow a bit, but that's part of the course.
Yeah, when did this happen? When the Broomy guy got kicked?
Yeah, they wanted to hear the rumpusing, I think, so that was what they were hoping for, and me going, no more swearing, and then kicking him out led them to come in and go, wow, we'll just end the show, we want to hear rumpusing, and no point being made, and scattergun questions.
What is that saying about correlation and causation or whatever? But it was very telling that he came to entertain the Discord guys, and then when he got kicked, then the sniping started taking place.
Yeah, interesting, especially as recently we've had Alan say that, people aren't talking about Discord, talking about Flat Earth debate on Discord. It's like, oh, really? Well, not according to this guy. Apparently he's been sent in. They're so keen to watch, they're sending people in to rumpus. Fair enough. I feel very flattered.
Yeah, thank you for the views, guys, and the dislikes if you did.
Much obliged, I'm not going to lie. Question is, will there be an after show? Will we get any guests in the next couple of minutes to actually have an after show? If not, it'll just be a chat between you and me for 5 minutes.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it was. It's been fun, this ride I've been had, because as I say, I joined the show as a placeholder, and then maybe a few days after I kept coming to the show. Then the perspective subject came to light with the Midwest calculator, and yeah, and I get to show my Photoshop drawing in a paper. Very fun it has been for me.
Hey, Travis. You hear us? Or we can't hear you if you can hear us. Either way, what I will do is I'll stick the link out for the public one last time.
Yeah, why not?
And as I do so, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And, of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and sniping the show. If you hated it, then smash the dislike button twice. But if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. Over on Nathan Oakley channel, there is the repeat of the first debate together with the pre-show. So subscribe to Nathan Oakley if you've not done so already to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth debate pre-show and after-show goodness. Once again, I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
All right.
But what happened? The other guys, they got pissed. They said like, "Screw this! I'm gonna keep clicking on the mouse to join the show no more."
Hey Jose, what video editing program do you use?
The one I use the most is DU Recorder.
It's on his phone.
In that one, yeah, on my mobile phone, DU Recorder, and it makes me stitch videos together. It makes me slow down, accelerate, zoom in, crop middles of the video. So it makes me do a lot of things. Add music, up the audio, or lower it down. So you give me a few options. Not too bad.
So you did the blink test with that too?
No, the blink test was with another one. Let me go to my apps and tell you the name of that one. It's called Ultimate Photo Mixer. It's like in the logo, it's like a picture of a guy defuminated and a girl in the background, like ghostly image. So Ultimate Video Mixer, Ultimate Photo Mixer.
I'm just too lazy, I guess.
Yeah, but in that one, he just let me. I mean, it got 2 bars in the bottom, so I can put the background image and I overlap another image, so I can slide the little bar and it get darker and fade in, fade out. So then I recorded me doing the action of fading in and out with the DU recorder, and then I cropped just the middle part with the where the effect was taking place. So it was a little tricky, but I figured it out.
And you do that on your phone?
All in my phone. I haven't had a computer in years.
Man, that's crazy. Good job, dude.
P-Mars has got a stream running called "Help Me Hit 1K Subs to Troll Arwin."
Oh, really? That's funny. Yeah, what happened to him today, man? He came like the other guy that we don't like, you know?
Hey, Zinder.
In there.
Hi. So...
Yeah, P-Mars is just pissed off. I don't know. He sent me a message on Skype this morning, and I was like, "What the hell?" What did he say? Give me a sec. He said, "Go fuck yourself, you scamming conman fuck."
Wow.
That's what he said to me on Skype. I was like, "What? Having a bad day?"
Out of nowhere?
Sounds really pissed.
Yeah.
Well,
he does sound really pissed. Fair enough, P. Volatile.
You asked the question before, Jose, right?
Yeah, remember me.
Like,
Refresh my memory.
how can Glober still deny that things disappear bottom up from the surface, on a small surface? Well, guess what? How long did I deny it? Like
You
2
did
weeks?
for a long time, yeah.
For a long time, right? So, well, the reason why I denied it was, first of all, I couldn't observe the same with my own eyes on shorter distances. Like, I don't know, like 100 meter, 200 meter, 300 meter, because I obviously was like, I'm around 170, 1 meter 70, and from that height, this effect won't be seen from the distance. But yet, I thought, yeah, if things disappear bottom up on flat surfaces, why don't I see it, first of all, right? Then the other thing was, I've never read about it, nowhere, right? I never heard about it in any way or form. So I was thinking, yeah, if they didn't teach it to us, it can't be true, right?
Exactly.
If it isn't written down in any science book or whatever, if it didn't look at it at school, it can't be true. It was the other reason. So I think many people think that way, right? So they look at your video and then they say, yeah, the floor is curved, or this evidence isn't right because of that and that, right? Instead of going and testing it from themselves.
So, yeah, I agree, totally agree.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the strongest point, because this hasn't been written in optics, books of optics, or on eyes or glasses or cameras or none of that shit, because I don't know why, because it's a real thing, that happens. But oh well, they have to just go out, do themselves, and stop presupposing it's an Earth. When they're doing 15, 20 mile observations, they have to stop, just adding that 7-6R in the equations, and just start to figure out how does this happen. If there's a mirage, the evaporation and the Rayleigh's criteria, the Airy's diffraction, all this stuff they have to consider, but they don't want to entertain none of those. They want to go straight to the radius of the Earth and the calculator.
Yeah, I think it's easier that
Jose,
way for them.
Imagine if this stuff was written down in the books,
Chocolate's got a really ropey connection. You'll be back in a sec.
They drop. Are you guys dropped?
No, I think it was just chocolate. He's on a mobile with dodgy. It happens a lot. He'll probably be back.
Oh, okay.
Same as
yeah. This connection of mine is okay over here in this area where I live.
Nobody
I got
joined,
Metro
so
PCS.
Nobody joined, so I don't think they weren't sniped.
Okay. Yeah, this Metro PCS phones, I'm happy with it. I tried T-Mobile, I tried Sprint, but Metro PCS I think is the cheapest, the better deal for me.
I have no idea who I even use. Who do I use? Virgin. Oh, yeah, Virgin I use.
Hey, it's a similar concept over Virgin Mobile, which is no like credit checks or nothing, and they got cheap phones like for free or just a couple bucks. Plus they got the high end that you gotta pay, but yeah, they're okay.
I bought my phone outright, so if you buy an Apple phone from Apple, they come unlocked, so you can stick any SIM card in them. So I tend to just buy them, because if you work it out how much it costs you for your iPhone, if you buy it with a contract, it's horrendous. It's like 40% more than if you just went into Apple and bought it. But
yeah, it's ridiculous, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite expensive.
Got sniped.
Oh, really?
Had to join with another account by I think Mike. He joined it and left like in 0.1 second and managed to kick me. I think Chocolate was kicked too. By him.
Bastards.
Yeah, what you gonna do?
Assholes. Let me check in the black chat to see who's in there.
Yeah, I have someone that joined and left really, really fast. Does he have like a script or so? Does it make it automatically, or how does it do it? I mean,
I don't know. There was a mic in there. Yeah, he probably one of the sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back. And Zinder is out. And I'll be out. Goodbye. Bro. Well, this was a show today. 666 tomorrow. Yeah, I got 3 days off. Woohoo! They screw me at work. They cut my schedule hours. Big time. I'm going to be struggling the next couple of weeks. See what happens.
well, you normally work on weekends too?
I usually work 40 hours a week at least. And this week I was scheduled only 3 days. So I ended up with 24 hours instead of 40.
Yeah.
And I will not know what the schedule is until tomorrow. They set the schedule from Sunday to Saturday next week. See if I get 40 or not.
And I guess you get paid per hour, right? So.
Yeah, per hour.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Big time, yeah.
Yeah, I did the job too. Like 1 year paid per hour. It was alright. I mean, I had enough money to live at the end. But yet, if they have nothing for you, you just can't work for like 3 or 4 days. And then you work a lot again. Yeah, then they work a lot again because they prior.
You're muted.
Yeah, this Mike guy is completely a troll.
Yeah, I thought I kicked him. Yeah, he's out now.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, about 5 years ago, I worked salaried as a salary manager in Walmart, which is not the best company, but as a salary manager, I did okay money. So I did salary manager for maybe a year and a half, and I stepped down, man. I couldn't take it. They kept calling me because they kept opening stores, and they started using me for like a month or two to start setting up the stores and training people. And when it was my days off, I used to have 3 days off, work 4 and 3 off. 90% of the time I get called on my days off for at least 1 or 2 hours with issues in the store. And I said like, nah, screw this. I need a life. So I stepped down to clock in and clock out,
Yeah, I can imagine it's really annoying. Like when you have your day off, you prepare yourself, like, I don't know, for a trip, or you just want to spend a nice day with your wife, whatever, and then the call comes in and you have to show up. Fucking bullshit, dude. Sorry.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, they say, yeah, you have to kind of sell your soul to the devil. You're gonna be on the clock all the time, so whenever you need you, there's no other no for an answer. They didn't take it, so yeah, that sucked.
Yeah.
I saw the money. It was bright the money when I saw it. Like, oh yeah, I'll take these good bonuses on Christmas and shit. It wasn't worth it, bro. I took such a big weight off my shoulders when I stepped down. It was good.
Yeah, it's better, I guess. I mean, in my case, they had to call me one day before. Otherwise, I could just say no. I don't have any time. I already planned something, and they had to accept that. So
okay,
I was kind of lucky. I think in where I live, there aren't a lot of jobs where they can do such things. I mean, they have to tell you explicitly before you take the job that you might have to do it, right? So a lot of times they are pretty fair here in Zurich when it comes to that regard.
But yeah, that's good. Some jobs they have to give you at least 24 hours in advance if you have to change schedule or whatever. And the one I had, it was on demand, like in the moment, by the minute. So yeah.
Kind of annoying, I know. I wanted to ask you something else. Like, how long do you live in America? Since
for 13 years, I left Puerto Rico. I'm born and raised in Puerto Rico. I left in 2005.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I lived 2 years on the north in Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, I've never been. I've never been in America in general, but it's the only. Like, there are 2 continents I've never visited. Like three continents I've never visited. The rest of it.
Like before that, I was in Puerto Rico all my life. I went to Dominican Republic, which is in the Central America, one of the little islands. It was like a 2 hours, an hour and a half plane ride. You know, I went for like 4 days, so it was kind of home pretty much. And then when I left to America over here, it was the big change, you know, for me.
Yeah, I have to say, Jose, you are the person who convinced me that the angle of you thing is real. Like, with your video, all other videos I said, yeah, the floor is curvy and so on. But when you uploaded the video, I was like, yeah, dude, it's in a supermarket. How on earth is the floor curvy? Like,
wow,
and then
I
I started to believe it, especially when you raised the camera a little bit and I could still see the effect of the light, like not being visible. I was like, yeah, I have no other explanation for it than this phenomenon.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, I was my jaw dropped when I grabbed the phone and I review it and I saw it. I go like, holy shit, you know, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting. I mean, I it's like I wanted it to happen, but I wasn't expecting it to happen. And then I tried it a few times before I uploaded the video. I go like, damn, this shit is real, you know. And I have repeated a few times, so yeah, it's a thing, bro.
Yeah, but somehow I miss a little bit coming to the debate and like with full convincement defending the globe. Like, it was really funny. I mean, the shouting match and everything. Oh, bye, Jose. Oh, never mind.
Well, that's the end of that then, eh?
Yeah. Oh, he rejoined. That is perfect.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say is I miss it a little bit coming to the show and defending the globe with full heart, like completely defending in the thing I believe and shouting around. But somehow you have to progress, I guess.
I understand. I really appreciate you, man. You're one of the most honest, Globers I've seen, because everything has to be questioned. Everything has to be entertained. It's not just the way it's everything is not just the way it's presented. You have to find another route sometimes, you know.
But didn't it happen anyone else? Like someone who joined the panel and was a full glober, and then he somehow got convinced the Earth is flat. That never happened before. I mean, I can't imagine it. Like
there have been many. There have been a few cases, but they go back to they find something, a silly argument, and they just go back to not think about anything, any alternative explanation.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Because I thought, like, in the 4 years or so where Nathan, the show is running, at least, like, more than 10 people should have switched the sides.
But that I mean, that's my opinion. Nathan
as these guys discuss the whys and wherefores of who has or has not been converted, I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this after show possible, and of course a massive thank you to all of you, the audience in the Nathan Oakley channel, for watching this premiere. Hopefully you shared the show. If you didn't, maybe consider sharing it, but if you'd hated the show, smash the dislike button twice. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Bye-bye.